Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Twigs and Rigs. It's just me today, along with
Link Dancevich from New Wave Hockey. What's going on? How you doing,
we
Zach?
have a. I'm doing good. We have a very special episode today. Before the playoffs, just a mock draft. Kind of get into that feeling, and since drafts are such a big thing right now with the NFL draft in a few weeks, I thought, hey, might as well do an NHL mock draft right now. Just for fun. Obviously, we won't know too much right now until the
I
lottery and
guess
all
not.
that.
No,
So
we're gonna sim.
before we start, even with the sim, I do want to touch on one thing because I think it's the most obvious thing that I should the OV 895.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
100%. I mean, where
it,
do you
I
even start
mean,
with that?
yeah, greatest goal
I
scorer I'm ever gonna see to ever play in the NHL. I mean,
absolutely, absolutely. The one whole thing I really am just taken aback from in this whole thing. I never really thought he was gonna do it. I remember watching back in 2019, watching him win his first, and I would just think to myself, again, where does he rank in the all-time greats with the cup that he got? And then now he's here 895. It's hard to argue that he's not a top 10 player all time.
yeah, especially doing it
It's
at
pretty easy.
39, especially doing it at 39 years old. Especially he got
It's
injured,
insane.
especially with him getting injured and missing I think 18 games this year.
I also think
Like
the things that people don't talk about is that he's essentially been through two lockouts. The
yes,
one that knocked out his rookie year, or what would have been his rookie year, and just the lockout of 2012 and COVID. So that's
yeah,
one ththing we had to talk about. We had to get it out of the way.
yeah, and I think even if he didn't get hurt this year, there's a chance he's leading the Richard race right now.
100%.
Like he's
100%.
only I think 8 goals behind Draisaitl or something like that.
Draisaitl's not even going to touch 55 this year, I don't think, right?
Yeah, he's injured right now. He's at 50 exactly. So, but yeah, I think just have to get it out of the way. Whenever, obviously, next episode when Jacob's back, that'll be talked about too, again. So another one before thing. I think we'll touch on this more during it, but Isaac Howard going back for senior year. I think
Yeah,
it's
that kind of surprised me.
very interesting because when's the last time a first or second round prospect with that's been this good hasn't signed yet and is going back for a senior year? Because Cutter
I
threatened it, Rutger threatened it, but that's really it.
Well, I no the whole problem with Rutger and Cutter is that they wanted to come over even earlier.
Mm,
With Isaac Howard, this is just kind of odd because I remember as a Flyers fan, Jay O'Brien
yeah,
doing that to us and didn't
but
turn
he's
out great.
yeah,
Um, this just looks really unprecedented. I think it's kind of scary if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning. I would
mm.
love to know his reasoning why. 'Cause I feel like he would have a
I
great
think
opportunity
the
to get
one
into that
thing
lineup.
I saw, yeah, I think the one thing I saw is that he wants to be in the NHL immediately, and I was like, you're playing guys like Zemgus Girgensons, Gage Gonsalves, and Cam Atkinson. You can easily, and you're playing Darren Radish on your fourth line rather than D. So move Gonsalves down to your fourth line, prop up Bjorkstrand to the second line, and you have a third line spot right there for Isaac Howard. So
It
I
just
don't
doesn't make
know.
sense. We'll see.
It'll be interesting. I think there is a chance he's traded more at the deadline than the offseason. I don't think Tampa really wants this to be dragged out. So
No.
it'll be interesting. And I mean, and they could really use a guy like Isaac Howard, cheap forward on an ELC. So, but let
100%.
us get into the mock draft. I can share my screen. Thanks. Yeah, I know how to do this. Okay. Do you getting into the tankathon? I have not simmed at all yet. So let us sim. Please don't be boring. Please do not be chalk.
This works. This works for me. Whoever, depending on who wants to go first.
I'm annoyed because it's basic chalk essentially.
All right. Who's going first?
I'll
You or
let
me?
you go first. I'll let you go first since you're the guest.
All right. We'll just go alternates. So I guess you get
Yep.
Philadelphia, which.
Ah, I didn't see that.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. So let's start. So starting with Chicago. Um, I think it's hard to argue because first overall, I think it depends on the team that is picking first
Yep.
overall. And the case has been made for a lot of different players to go in this position. I think there's a huge discussion, obviously, about Matthew Schaefer. He's been what people were calling the consensus first overall player for the last few months. What Michael Misa's caught up to him. I'll get to Michael Misa. It was Hagens for a bit at the beginning of the year. I don't think he's going to go first overall now. I've seen people say Frondell is a candidate for first overall. I don't believe that.
Can't
I
see
don't
it.
think. I really don't see anyone believing that. But I really think that Chicago's going to go for the most dynamic player available. I think Chicago's going to go for the most dynamic player available here. I think what you need to do is you need to worry about pairs. You need to worry about like supporting Bedard, and I think nobody will do that better. I really don't think anyone's going to be able to do that better, but also be able to create for himself than Michael Misa. I think that's the
I
two-headed
agree.
dragon that you want to just start your rebuild off with, and I think Chicago, like drafting Misa at first overall, is not only not a far stretch, but I think it's just that's the position they're going to end up going in. So
Yeah, you need that co-pilot with Bedard, and while you have some guys like Nazar, Moore, etc., like none of them are really have that high ceiling like Amisa that can be just that running mate for Connor Bedard. And it's better you do this now because obviously last year you picked Levchinov, who actually has looked good in his NHL minutes, but I
he's looked
think
really solid. I think
yeah.
people were really hard on him to begin with. So
I
we'll
think
see.
they're over. Yeah, I think they're overblowing it a bit with like, oh, Demidov. But like, I think they're a bit overblowing it, like, because he's a right shot and right
Yeah.
shots hard to come by. So we'll say this. I am putting all the picks on a Google Doc, so I don't know how to exactly switch between the screens I'm sharing. So we'll show that at the end. San Jose. This is pretty easy. Matthew Schaefer. I mean,
Gave you a layup there.
exactly. He's close. It's so hard for me to decide who's one or two between him and Misa. Honestly, I think it's what you would want. He's going to be a 1D. You need that. Sure, you have Sam Dickinson who has looked pretty solid, but Matthew Schaefer's that guy who has that pure number one upside. That guy who can possibly be a top 5 D man in the NHL one day. He's getting a lot of Miro Heiskanen comps from a lot of like Scott Wheelers and all that. I could kind of see it, but he's going to have that juice that you need on the back end, and that he could do everything for you, honestly. So
Another player that I compared him to was Roman Yossi,
I've
so to
seen that
speak. I
too.
think, yeah,
I like that a lot.
I really just like the dynamism in his game. Again, he's going to just absolutely change the fabric of that San Jose team from day one. I think he's someone who's going to come over and be playing in the NHL next year. Again, I am a little bit worried about a couple things. Though, again, with how spread out this resume is, I am kind of like, I will say the margin is really razor thin between who I think is the best prospect in this draft. I still have Michael Misa going 1, but Matthew Schaefer's right there. They're razor thin.
Yeah.
It's really, really close. But it's scary to kind of evaluate a prospect just on like 18 games alone. Again, he was really dominant for that stretch, but there was a bit of Matthew Schaefer that I'm a little worried about. Like, again, are we going to see the player that only scored 17 points through 52 games last year? I mean, I don't know. So we'll see. He looks fantastic. I think he's going to be a number 1D. Like you said, top 5 defenseman in the league is something that, again, is definitely his ceiling. It's definitely achievable. But again, there is some risk taking. I mean, there's some risk with him involved, and let's just like not act like there isn't. So
yeah, and I think there's just all these guys, in my opinion, because especially in this kind of draft where there's no like real consensus number one, we haven't really seen that in a bit. Like 2022 was the last time that happened, and you look how that's kind of played out. So I think these kind of drafts are more interesting where isn't really a consensus. So I think that playing a factor into it can be incredibly interesting getting into the draft in LA. So you're up with Nashville at 3.
I'm up with Nashville 3. Okay. Now, this one's just a tough one because I think like Nashville is in a unique position where they legitimately need everything. And I think in terms of what they want, in terms of like how they're going to go with somebody that they are willing to just take a shot on. I think this at 3, you have to just go for a home run pick, and you could err on the safer side with the guy like Porter Martone, who is going to rack up some points for you. You can err on the safer side with a guy like Anton Frondell, Caleb Denoyer, but I really think that James Hagens is the best fit for Nashville at 3rd overall. I really just think the upside is something that should be just like massively taken into account for. Like he's going to look really really good. I mean, he has looked really good all year. There have been some downsides adjusting to the NCAA, and those have been well documented. But I look at the development of his two-way game. I look at the details in this game, a lot of the zone entries. Um, I really see a fantastic number one C there. Also,
So do I.
despite him being under pressure and like he's not the greatest under pressure, he finds some insanely good passing lanes.
Mhm.
Sometimes he doesn't make the best decision, but I really see someone who is going to be a dominant passer at the next level. I see someone who could definitely hit 100, not 100. He could hit 80 assists in a season, maybe even.
Yeah.
He's shown a really big upside. I think Nashville needs to take a swing on guys like that in this draft. So we will see.
I agree. I think you look at their prospect pool. Fedor Svechkov has looked solid this year. Matthew Wood debuted. I don't. Game scorecard said he was fine. Zachary Leroux debuted, but he's going to be at like middle six guy at best. So you don't have that true game breaker, and they have Tanner Molendijk, who I like a lot, but you don't have that true game breaker really anywhere. And I mean, you saw the other day, Barry Trotz said they think David Estrom's going to be a solid third line player. Compare him to Joel Eriksson Ek. Kind of contradicting. B. So you traded Ashcroft for a third liner. And sure, they got first out of it. I always forget about that. But you don't have that game breaker. You need that 1C you've been essentially looking for throughout most of your history. So they're a weird team. I think they could actually look. I think that team could look a bit different heading into next year as well. I do think Higgins will sign once he gets drafted. I think really any of the consensus top three.
Do you think he's not going back to school?
I think
he's going to go back to school.
I don't know. I think at least whoever drafts him will want him in the NHL immediately. So that's my opinion. I think there's a chance he goes back though, and then he'll immediately be in there once the college season ends, obviously. So number 4, ooh, there are some directions I could go here. There are.
Let's just not make me mad here.
There's 2 guys I'm debating between. There's 2. I think it'll be fine either way. Yeah, I'm ripping the Band-Aid. Yeah. I know you said this guy's been out of your top 4 for a bit, but he's still in the top 4 for me. Porter Martone. I
love that. I'm still good with that. Again, there were some players that
I was debating between him and Denoyer.
I like centers. I would want a center to go 4th overall to the Flyers, but again, let me hear your rationale for Martone.
Power forward winger that you can put on the same line as Bedard, because Bedard's what 5'10". I mean, not Bedard. Jesus Christ, Michkov. He's like what 5'10", right? You want a bigger guy on his line to help him as well. There's issues to his game. There's defensive lapses, some consistency issues, but he's good enough. If you in the future that could propel whatever center you have there to a higher level than that center is, right? Like say he's on a line with they're both on a line with Jet Luchenko. He can that the wingers can at least propel Jet Luchenko to maybe put up better stats than he is. No, not offending Luchenko. I like Luchenko, but you know what I mean. Project him to a more higher level, essentially. So it was him or Denoyer. I still like Martone a lot. So, but I know that there are issues to his game he needs to work out. I've said before that I think the whole top 4, those 4, will be in the NHL next year. I don't know about Martone. So, I want to hear your thoughts.
I don't know about a top 4. I would say, for me, as a Flyers fan, number 1 priority for me is to take a center, if we can. Obviously, if Higgins is gone by that point, if Mies is gone by that point, he will be. I feel like Denoyer is the person I would pick. He's someone I've picked before in a mock draft, just to kind of do my own thing. But Porter Martone, I think he'd be a really solid option for the Flyers. I think he gives just kind of Mitchkov a really good foible at fourth overall. I don't think he's going to be able to drive a line, but his ability to pass this year has been greatly just has been much better. He's a great stick handler. He's been really solid in transition despite having some skating issues. My big thing that I would say though is that in term you said power forward for Porter Martone. I don't really necessarily agree with that label. I think he's just like a two-way guy because he doesn't really engage he doesn't really engage physically that much. I haven't seen a lot of bite to his game. I
I
haven't
guess
seen a lot of great
I
stuff off puck wise.
I
But
guess I
again,
mean more so like
I
a
would be
bigger.
happy. I would be happy with Porter Martone.
Yeah,
Overall.
I guess more so I mean just like a bigger winger essentially.
No, that's fine.
That's
Yeah,
essentially what I mean there.
and I got Boston at 5.
So I've heard before you say it, I've heard some interesting things with Boston that they really like Roger McQueen.
Yeah, and I can see why. I'll talk about Roger McQueen. I'm not gonna have him go to Boston,
Yeah.
but I love Roger McQueen. I really do, and I
So do
totally
I.
get the temptation for any team to take him in the top 5. I understand it. Someone who skates the way that he does, who has the reach that he does, with the stick handling ability that he
Shot.
does. His shot isn't like too special, I will say. But the shot potential, because that is 6'5", 210, and growing. Like that's a lot of mass behind a shot.
Yeah.
And with the wingspan that he has, he's just. I I love doing this. I love just comparing the NBA to the NHL for my non NHL watching audience. But he's like someone told me he was like Kevin Durant because he's really tall and he can score from anywhere. No, I didn't get that either. But I don't have Boston going with Roger McQueen at this 5th overall juncture. Again, this is another scenario where I can see them kind of going best player available.
Yeah, they kind of need everything in their system.
Again, it's a really tough one. And I'm tempted to go center at first. I would love to go with Denoye, but at 5th overall, I'm gonna have to go with Anton Frondel,
I like that.
who from Your Gardens. And the reason why is I think if you're not gonna reach on McQueen, which they might, you might as well like try to get some physicality out of it. I feel like Anton Frondel has has some of the best snark and kind of fu to his game. He really is somebody who can just kind of pounce on you and just really just irritate you. I enjoy it. I think he's got a fantastic shot. I
do too.
I know he's got a fantastic
He's
shot.
so fucking good.
His off puck play has been getting a lot better. And it's starting to make up for his. I'm going to be real with you. Not good transition game. He's not good at zone entries. He's not a great stick handler. I'm still not locked into having him in my top 5. He is currently, but he's not. I don't think he's going to stay there. But there are some issues with Anton Frondel, but there's also a lot of great things with Anton Frondel.
Yeah.
And I think getting him at 5th overall for Boston, that would be a great fit. And I think he'd have a role on that team sooner rather than later.
So do I. I think there'd be a chance. I think they'd give him a chance to make the team out of camp with what that team looks like right now. They've been losing a lot since the deadline. They're locked into. I don't know if they're not locked into 5th right now. They certainly can get a higher pick potentially. It's weird to see Boston this low, honestly.
It's insane.
Especially without David Pastrnak having a 100-point fucking season on this team. So, but having Frondel with Pasta in the future would be disgusting. So,
just who would be the center of that line? That's my only question.
You muted. There you go. It depends because I know Frondel has wing flexibility as well. It depends on how Frondel's development goes, I guess. But if not, it'd probably be like either Lindholm or Middlestat, at least right now. So, right. But,
all right,
do what you can. I am up with Seattle. This is interesting because they have a ton of great forward prospects. Berkeley Catton. They have Berkeley Catton, Carson Rakoff, Jagger Furcus, Edward Chalet. Leoni Neiman has not looked bad in the NHL.
I've been
So
a big fan of him for a while.
they have a lot of that. It's still tempting to go forward, just because I mean those are the best players available right now, right? I think if you're Seattle, I am tempted to go Jackson Smith, but I don't want to do him that high. Hmm. Yeah, I might
I
have
mean,
to,
I think
but
I think you might have to go with the defenseman here.
yeah, I think I'm going Jack. There's two defensemen, and I think I have
I think you
them
should say the right. I think you should say the right one, Zach. I think you should say the right one. You know which one I'm
Radim
talking about.
Radim Murka.
So no, make your pick. Who are you gonna pick?
Murka. I'm going Radim Murka.
All right,
I think
give it to me.
so. Actually, yeah.
I'm waiting on bated
They
breath.
need a
Yeah,
they need a guy like Murka. They don't have. You look at Seattle's decor right now.
they got
Dragicevic.
Alexiak.
Yeah, hold on. Dragicevic, offensive defenseman. Vince Dudd, offensive defenseman. Brendan Montour, offensive defenseman. Riker Evans, more of an offensive defenseman. You will need a guy to balance that out. I know Jackson Smith is there as well. I love Radim Murka's game. I love how it's developed. This might be a bit too high for him, which I can totally see. I think you need that steady potential two-way D-man in the system really bad. Just you need someone to
Yeah,
balance out some of the guys there. And I love Alexiak, Stars legend. So
yeah. Him and Larson are 32. They're not getting any younger.
yeah.
So you got to pounce when you can. All right, Pittsburgh at 7. As much as I want to tank this pick, and I really want to tank this pick.
Don't piss Jacob off. That's all I ask.
I think like Nashville, they're looking to take a swing here. They don't want to just kind of accept they're going into a rebuild because I don't think that's what Sid wants. That's not what anybody wants. No. So a player has notably fallen to the 7th overall, and I'm going to take him. So I'm going to take Caleb Denoyer, 7th overall. Crime that he was not available, and you didn't take him for.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good. You
The
there?
camera was not unplugged. What the fuck?
Your mic is still on, so you can explain in the meantime.
I know. Hold on.
But I'm a big fan of Caleb Denoyer. I think he's my
Yeah.
favorite player in the draft. He's my favorite player in the draft, outside of like the top three.
Mine's
three
either
guys.
Meese or Eklund. Sorry about that, but Caleb Denoyer, again, really solid center, someone that you can kind of rely on for not only face offs, but is just a very passionate individual as well. I like a lot of the bite that he has to his game. He's really good at finishing checks. His skating issues, while are valid, do also hamper his transition game, but he's a very solid passer. There are limitations to his skating that kind of hurt him in terms of zone entries and just kind of how much he can create in the offensive zone. But despite that, with his great stick handling, his really solid passing, and a pretty impressive shot, I really, really like Denoyer. I think getting him at 7 is a steal. I'm running up to that podium if I'm Pittsburgh for them. So I think they get a really good option on offense. As much as I would want to add to the decor, I don't think this is the draft to do it.
No,
I think
that's not.
I think next year, if Pittsburgh is the way that it is right now, they have a pretty good shot at Keaton Bearhoff or Ryan Lynn next year. So we'll see.
Another thing is, like, again, they're another prospect pool which just needs anything. Just needs life, essentially. I like Rutger. He's looked actually pretty good now, and your camera's off again. But Caleb Denoyer, also having him, like, eventually is having Sid mentor him, I think would do wonders as well. You're good. So I think that would be a great pick. I love Caleb Denoyer. He's great. Next up, Anaheim. Who's a big player?
We just mentioned one, and it's in range. We're in range. We're good.
It's gonna be these brothers, I guess, will stay in the same state, eh?
Pretty much.
Victor Eklund. Yeah.
Oh. All right, sounds good. I'm gonna pick that. All right, damn, really? You're gonna let McQueen fall more? Well, Eklund's pretty good too.
So
Yeah.
I think there's just injury concerns with McQueen that would kind of maybe hold Anaheim off for once from taking a big boy. I mean, Victor Eklund's great. I mean, great handles, smart player. Um, they don't need forwards specifically. They drafted a lot of forwards, but why not add to it? You get a guy who can play on the first line eventually. I know that it's pretty crowded, but hey, I have a great Swedish connection with him and Leo Carlson, who's looked fantastic this year. I'll let you go more into it since you're the Victor Eklund guy here.
I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, Victor Eklund is the highest motor in the draft, and he has like just solid skill to pair with it. He's had to like kind of again put a dampener on it ever since he's been in the Allsvenskan, and that's just purely out of just like maturity. That's purely out of just maturity in his game. He needs to just take it easy. He needs to stick to what he's good at, and that's transitioning. That's winning battles in corners. That's puck retrievals. This guy can take a beating, and he can skate, and then he'll outskate you that same shift. I love Victor Eklund. I think he is somebody who is supremely underrated, and this is coming from somebody who had a fifth overall, and is now gonna bring him all the way back to the lonely position of seventh overall. So we'll see. I like him here. I like Anaheim as a destination for him. So, but yeah. All right, now moving on to Buffalo. I think Buffalo screams just a needed defenseman. I'm between two people here, and I'm gonna go with Jackson Smith, just because I think the offensive upside and just the dynamism that you can get from him is. I don't think you're going to be able to find it in other prospects in this draft. I mean, obviously not. I mean, not. We're not talking about Matthew Schaefer here,
No.
but Jackson Smith is an excellent offensive defenseman. He is really, really solid in transition. However, there are things that that really worry me as just a scout and someone who watches. I mean, his play as meticulously as I do. He seems to want to do it all by himself, which is a little bit of an issue.
Hero ball.
Yeah, hero puck. Like he's really like a puck hog. And I just wish that he was just better. I would say better coach, or just like had a better idea of what he was doing in the defensive zone. Sometimes when he's off, when he doesn't have the puck, he really is kind of lost, and that's something that really just like kind of bothers me. But I think Buffalo is in a prime position to trade down if they're up in this draft. They want a defenseman, I think, and that's the route that Kevin Adams is going to be going.
They desperately need defensemen. Not even just in the pool. Like they need right shots really bad.
He's a left shot.
Yeah, but I think just going D-man in general, I think would just be huge for them. And plus, with Bone Byram rumors like, oh, he wants to be a number one, I think that also allows you to go like another D-man as well. I think that just adds to it. And I know, yeah, and obviously I think the most ideal pick, I mean, he was off the board. So, and Brady Merca, I think that was kind of the ideal one. Next up with Columbus. Ooh.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
You edited it out.
I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to edit. I'll figure it out. Next up, Buffalo. Shit. Yeah, I think I got to bite the bullet here.
Columbus.
With Columbus, yeah. I think Roger McQueen.
They're not taking McQueen. With what happened with Lindstrom this year, they're not taking McQueen.
Yeah, good point. Ooh. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that you can go, though. There's a lot of options.
So then just pick your favorite.
Let's go. Jake O'Brien.
Okay.
Another center. Very much a playmaking center. Hold on. Give me a sec before let me type this in. Playmaking center. Smart, very smart player. Very smart passer. How tall is he again? Like what?
6'2". He's about, I think, 170. So he's a stick.
Yep. Yeah, he's a rail thin. But he can very much be your 2C of the future with Fantilli. Depends what happens to Caden Lindstrom. Yeah, no, he's going to MSU, which I think that'll be good for him to stay at least in the States. So
That's good. Yeah. All right, let's quickly move on to number 11 because you let my boy Roger McQueen drop to 11, and I think that the New York Islanders are going to pick him up. Like, it's simple as that. It's really quick, really easy. Lou Lamoriello, again, he can stay napping because, again, look, you get Roger McQueen at 11. I think you've had a really good day.
yeah.
Cole Eiserman and what he's going to do for this franchise kind of hinges on who his line mates are going to be. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. We've seen it at BU.
They also have
And yeah,
Richie.
what?
They also have Richie.
Oh
as
yeah,
well, remember.
they just got Richie. That's crazy. So, but I think a really tall, center down the middle, with the amount of skill that he has, which the amount of potential that he has, that gives him an identity going down the road. That's something that the Islanders desperately need. I could totally see this. If McQueen was going to fall, he's going to stop the Islanders for sure.
Oh yeah, I think I mean the Islanders took a risk last year with Yzerman. I don't think that would stop them this year from taking a guy like Roger McQueen.
I wouldn't even say Yzerman was a risk. They just had two.
A lot of
in
people
this
were
scenario.
like, we're like
I
afraid of
didn't
him
think it was
because he
that
was
risky.
A lot of people were like, oh, he's one dimensional. Which like, okay, but it's the most important dimension. So like, but I think Roger McQueen and Cole Eisman would do great. I think two guys who can at least threaten with their shots. I know Yzerman has a much better shot. I mean, Yzerman's going to come in and have probably at least a top 10 shot in the NHL whenever that happens.
We will
Top 10,
see.
top 15, but I think he's so good. Moving on, Detroit. All right, so they've gone. You stopped. Okay, so you stopped the McQueen.
I've got two candidates for my most, I'd say, Detroit picks at 12. But you go ahead.
I think this guy might be a very Detroit pick. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Go ahead.
I think he's. I forget if he's injured right now. I forget if that's still lingering. Carter Bear.
At 12? Damn.
He's talented.
At 12?
I was tempted. I was debating between him and Carbo. So maybe
I'm not a big fan of this pick, but go
maybe
ahead.
that's me having to do a bit more watching. I think that's probably what it is. But I like Carter Bear, hard worker, gritty. They've kind of went for that the last few years, and
Yeah.
guys like Danielson. So it's a pretty Detroit pick. Gritty, hard worker. He has a lot of talent. I think he can be like at least a middle six guy. I mean, they've drafted a lot of guys who could be middle six guys over the last few years, and guys like MBN, Casper, Danielson. So
I don't really agree. I'm not really a big fan of Carter Bear at all. He's someone who's like he's someone that I brought down significantly for a lot of reasons, and I think the lacerated Achilles is just gonna be another one. But I would say like I have two guys that I've pegged as like really big Detroit guys. And number one is Brady Martin because I feel like he fits the mold of the typical, I guess, forward that Steve Yzerman looks for, and he's got a little bit of an offensive flair, which I think was kind of missing in guys like Nate Danielson, to an extent, Michael Bransick, Nygaard. I also like Logan Hensler here as well because I think that the defenseman would fit them really well.
Yeah,
but now moving on to
the only reason I go with Hensler is because they have ASP in the system, and you have more at Sider already. Where's Hensler really going to fit?
Well, I think Hensler is more of a two-way D at this point.
Yeah.
So I think what he brings is more like, again, on both sides of the ice. I think he's improved drastically. I really like Hensler.
So do I.
At number 13, I have the Rangers taking Justin Carbonneau from the QMJHL. Both Q guys falling is kind of a travesty.
I bet you anything you wanted to tank that pick as well.
I did, but again, I have to give them a guy that is falling and shouldn't be falling. So Justin Carbonneau, tremendous scorer, as we all know. But there's so many other levels to his game. He's not just a one-dimensional player, as you claim that Cole Yzerman somehow is. I don't think.
No, I didn't know. I never thought that. I know some people said he was. I never thought that. I was a huge Yzerman fan.
Justin Carbonneau, I mean, once you get past the shot, he is great off the puck. Really, really solid, very detailed. A really solid passer, great intention with his stick handling. I love how he cuts to the middle of the ice. I think he has potential to be a really great zone entry player. I love Justin Carboneau. He's the spark the Rangers need, I believe, at
Yeah, I can
13th.
see that.
overall.
Okay, Utah Hockey Club, or whatever their name is going to be come draft time. I'm giving them a defenseman. I'll give them Logan Hensler.
My boy.
They they need a defenseman. Like I thought they were going to take one. I thought they were going to take one last year. So, but Hensler's improved. He is a talented player. He's a great two-way defenseman. Can very much at least be a second pairing guy for the future. I know they have Simashev, who's looked really good in the K. They have Maverick Lamoureux, who actually didn't look bad when he was in the NHL. So I think getting a right shot, which is something they need. I like Michael Kesselring, don't get me wrong, but I think you just need someone with a higher upside, and I think that's going to be Logan Hensler for you. Muted again.
Am I good?
Yeah.
I mean, I really like the pick. Logan Hensler. He's one of the safest in the draft. I really like that. Now moving on to Vancouver. The struggles have been well documented this year. It's been a rough year. And I think you need players that are going to change the culture. You need players from the jump who are going to be kind of just locker room defining people and just
Why do I think I know who this is going to be?
exemplary on the ice, but also exemplary off the ice as well. Like the Detroit pick, I have two guys that I think can fit into this role really well. One of them is Brady Martin from the Sioux. The other one is Kayshawn Aitchison of the Barrie Colts. And because the system for
your camera again.
Oh my god!
just say the name. Say the name. I think I know who you're going. I think I know who
I'm in because they have a lot of defensemen in their system. I think I'm going to go with Brady Martin.
Yeah, when you said locker room defining,
I think he again. I think he is someone that he's an assistant captain, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's an assistant captain. Sure. He just leads by example. He establishes the physicality on the ice. He's the first guy to lay somebody out every night for the Sioux. He's just a lead by example guy. And again, a lot of his teammates are big fans of Brady Martin. Again, I can totally see the leadership qualities there. I can see the culture changer aspect in him. And yeah, I think again he is a really solid pick at 15. So again, I think it's fully kind of the direction we go.
Now Montreal with back-to-back.
Oh, we both get a Montreal pick. I love this.
Yay. As much as I want to tank it, I really want to tank this so bad. I think I'm just gonna go. It's another lefty, Kayshawn Aitchison.
Mm-hmm.
He brings an element that some of their lefties don't have. He brings physicality. He can defend both ways. And and Lane Hudson can't defend. I'm sorry. No slight to him. He's insane offensively, but you need a guy on the left side that can do this. And Mike Matheson hasn't been that this year. And Lane Hudson has not been that either. But he's strong on the PK. He's chippy. He's physical. So it's an element they lack essentially.
100%. I really do like this pick. Again, Kayshawn Aitchison. It's gonna be hard to not drive out the PK Subban comparisons with the big slap shot. Again, the physicality that he's going to be bringing. I would say he's just a way better skater too. I really love Kayshawn Aitchison. He's someone who's really high on my list and has really just climbed on my list the last few weeks.
Yeah.
For number 17, I have Montreal not passing on a Quebec prospect because again, none of them fell into their lap. They love their French guys. I think that Bill Zonin is absolutely a candidate to not only go in the top 20, but to go to Montreal here at 17.
I like Zonin.
Just character, work ethic, heart, all enveloped into one player. Not the best skater, obviously, but he's been able to drive offense. In the offensive zone, he is somebody who has found ways to score. And his technical, he's not his technical side of the game is not the best, not the most complete, but you will not find a more passionate player. You will not find a harder worker. You will not someone who thinks the game the way that he does in this draft. I think he's a very unique player. He's somebody who just gets things going in a very unique way. I love Bill Zonin. I think he's going to be a fan favorite in Montreal in a few years. I like Brendan Gallagher level of fan favorite.
Yeah. Wait a moment. Sorry. Okay, I am up with Calgary. Okay. This is interesting because outside of them having a few picks in this draft, they've taken a lot of the same type of defenseman, and I don't want to take that here, at least right now. There's a few guys. I think I'm gonna go. I'm going. I'm gonna go Lyndon Lakovich here.
Okay.
I think they could use a bigger forward. I think, like, you look at their forward pool right now, and their forwards right now, not the biggest in terms of young guys, right? Like Luke Misa, Matthew Coronado, Zari, yeah. But you need a big guy there, and I like Lakovich a lot. 6'4", can 6'4", protects the puck well. He's got good handles. He has a decent scoring touch and can play good in transition with protecting the puck. So there's at least top 9 upside there. I don't know how high it will be, but I think you just need someone in that forward, at least young forward core, that's at least big and can hit as well. So they need more toughness.
Gotcha. I think at Jesus, I hate this so much. 20, Ottawa's in a unique position. They made the playoffs for the first time in a little bit. They're on the rise, and they need to keep supplanting their core with just really youthful, energetic, youthful. I said youthful, energetic, just dynamic scorers. And I think you're not going to find a better one at 19 than Malcolm Spence. And I really like the little storyline. He was a little sen with Michael Misa and William Moore, and now he's going to be playing for the Ottawa Senators. I think he brings a level of passion to the game that is super, super unique. I love the details of his game. He can take over a game whenever he wants. But the thing is, sometimes he doesn't want it. Sometimes his compete is off. And that is what bothers me because he is a supremely talented player. His frame is incredible. He is a strong individual. He's going to be great at the next level. I need to see more effort, but I think Ottawa is going to be the team that brings it out of him at 19.
Yeah, I think they'd love him. I think it adds to another guy who can be feisty as well, with guys like Brady Tkachuk and a Ridley Gregg as well. I think that would be just great for them. Columbus. I got Columbus again. I do not know who to go here, honestly. I could go goalie, unironically. And I'm not great with explaining goalies, which is a big flaw.
I don't think you go goalie this early.
Nah.
Right?
Nah. Unless you believe in Ravensburg that much. There's a few guys. This be too early. I think I'm gonna go. Cam Schmidt here.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. Let me explain. Obviously, they've had smaller guys in the past, like a Cam Atkinson, and I guess
Gavin
Brindley. Now, I think he's a great skater, good handler, great goal scorer, 31 goals last year at least for Vancouver. He scored 40 this year. He's a great attacker. He can challenge. He can threaten inside and off the rush. He can pounce and be opportunistic. It's interesting because you're adding another smaller guy when you have Gavin Brindley as well, which kind of almost steered me away because how many smaller guys do you want? But I think when you have guys who are big, like a Caden Lindstrom and an Adam Fantilli, for example, I think you can afford it at least. So I think that's yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next is St. Louis. This one's a tough one. I can see them going a whole different number of ways. I think this is a pick where if they're getting it, this is this is Bill Armstrong we're talking about. They're going to go for somebody that they're going to take a swing on somebody. They're going to absolutely just like take a big daddy whack at somebody, like hoping that they're going to be an offensively minded individual to kind of like just like take them into the future. I think that player at 21 is the ever rising is the ever rising Jakub East-Wozniak. There are a couple other players I want to take here. But since you took Cam Schmidt, I'm gonna let what am I talking about? Since you took Cam Smith, I'm gonna take my boy Jakub East-Wozniak. I think this is a good time where he can go, an early time where he can go. Camera keeps turning off. I hate that so much. He is very, very talented. 6'3", 190 pounds, just built big, plays big. Saying a lot of similar things with Malcolm Smets. He can take over games when he wants to. He really has shown the ability to be incredibly flashy, use the skating ability that is honestly doesn't look present when he doesn't have the puck. He's
Nice.
he's able to be that all around forward that you love to see. And I am a big fan of him. He's been getting better. He's been getting more consistent. But again, the SHL has been an equalizer for him. He's been in the J20 pretty much all year. But Sweden, they've been taking their Sweden. St. Louis has been taking their Swedish prospects for a long, long time. And I think this is a very Doug Armstrong pick. So we'll see. I think at 21, this is where St. Louis will go.
Yeah, I mean, I thought for a second you were going to go D man just because I mean they need a right shot at least a higher upside one. So I thought there was a chance there. I am up with Calgary again. This is interesting. It's such an interesting team to mock just because how many picks they have. Um, hmm. I think I'm gonna take the Calgary boy Benjamin Kindell. Now I did say they need that size, but you get Lakovic, you get someone 5'11" in Kindell. He's been very productive this year, and he's a great at even strength. He has effort. He has great hockey sense. He has a lot of talent. He has good skill and smarts. I think adding him and getting Lakovic as well, a bit very different players, but I think when you combine that for the future, that can be very good for Calgary. And adding to that young forward core of guys like Coronado, Zari, I'm definitely forgetting someone, but yeah, I think adding to that could have went defenseman. I don't think there's like any bigger defenseman at least that I think I'd want for them to take at least at this pick. So yeah,
100%. Gotcha. Awesome. All right, now I'm at 23. Philadelphia is picking from Edmonton. Really
at
quickly.
least you got one of them right.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think I got another one down the line. I got Colorado too as well. They're the Philadelphia pick. So I'm going to pick Colin Potter. Just supremely talented offensive skill. Consistent work ethic, which is really, really interesting. And he's not 5'9". I think he's like 5'10". So he's getting a lot of advantages really, really quick. He's pushing top 20 for me. He really is. And I think Philadelphia is gonna capitalize on what they got in Colin Potter. I would love to see him in the top 20. I would love to see team take a chance on him. I think he's going to be really, really solid and interesting in the NHL. And yeah, it's the perfect guy for Denoyes to feed the puck to. So yeah.
Was it Denoya here? No, it was Martone.
At 4? Oh,
Yeah.
you had 4. Oh, my bad.
Yes.
But I still think that those two pair really, really well.
Yeah.
I really still like Colin Potter.
I agree with you on that. Nashville. I get one of the Nashville picks. I'm gonna take Blake Fiddler here. First off, there's connections there. Vernon played in Nashville for a bit, so I think one big thing they lack in their system is a right shot defenseman. because Molendyk's a left shot. They don't really have that other bigger name right shot defenseman. Blake Fiddler has been improving. I think the Oil Kings actually just choked a 3-1 series lead. So kind of a bad time, maybe a bad time to bring up Fiddler. But yeah, son of Vernon Fiddler, big right shot defenseman who is more defensive than offensive. He has good gaps and a good stick. His offense does need to improve. He's 200 plus pounds. He's a strong defender who has an
he's also
improving
6'4", so he's supposed to be above 200
6'4",
pounds.
209. Yeah, 6'4", 209. So yeah, he's very much he can be a two-way defenseman at the NHL level. He'll at least be a third pairing guy minimum. I mean, obviously, right? But yeah, there is upside here as well. So I think they could really use a right shot for the future. And Nashville's always been good at developing defensemen. So
absolutely. At number 25, I have the Carolina Hurricanes going with Milton Gostrin from Modo in the Swedish league. I'm a huge fan of him. Look at a guy who can do all of the things. He does two-way defense. He's a two-way defender. He is active in all three zones. He's one of the fastest skaters in the entire draft. And I think he can get even better. His stride isn't even that efficient. And he's able to go in all directions. I really love Milton Gostrin. He's got a mean offensive streak to him. And I think he's someone that can not only stick on a third line, but has potential to be a second liner as well. And he can play center. And I think all of that combined with Carolina's kind of nonchalantness with taking smaller players. He's 6'1".
yeah, I mean,
I would have taken Milton Gostrin a lot earlier if I was the Carolina Hurricanes for this pick. But yeah, I like this pick.
Who did they take last year who was smaller? I forgot. It was in the mid rounds. Great shot in the queue.
Oh, Justin Poirier.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, I mean, and they have Stankoven on the roster. So
And Blake.
I am up with LA. This is tough because I mean it's not really because they outside of Green Tree,
The NHL's most boring team.
That's the Islanders, buddy.
No, that's the Kings. Go ahead, give me your pick.
Trying to think here. I'm gonna go Cameron Reed.
All right.
Reason is
perfect pick for Philly.
Reason is, you look at their young right shots right now, and Brandon Clark and Jordan Spence. I think Spence is more likely to get traded, but you need someone to maybe play with Clark. You don't really have that for the future, and I mean the pool's kind of weak outside of Green Tree, and I mean you have three goalies. So, but he's good. He had a really good rookie year. He's a really good skater, very smart. He's able to defend and close gaps and escape pressure really well. Able to transport pucks and get open and active off the puck. And yeah, I think he's really good. I think he's they do lack defenseman prospects as well. I think that's another big thing with them.
Gotcha. With 27, I'm going to continue the Michigan State to Philadelphia pipeline. And I'm going to pick Shane Vansagi, 27th overall.
Your boy.
This guy is mean. He's tough, he's big, and he adds offense. He's got really broad shoulders. He protects the puck very well. And despite him going on the outside in a lot of his rushes, he converts into some chances. And he just plays some exciting hockey along with a really dominant shutdown game as a forward nonetheless. I feel like if the offensive game was a lot more developed, he could be a Selke finalist. I would kind of just like pitch him as a Selke finalist at the next level. But I don't see that again. But I really see a lot of use, especially from Philadelphia, taking a guy like Vansagi. My American boy. I really love it. So yeah, keep going. Keep giving me the Michigan State to Pennsylvania.
I know you're a big fan. I know you're a big fan of him. Okay, I am up with San Jose. Well, you did give them Schaefer earlier. I mean, their prospect pool is already loaded, so I think they're willing to potentially take a swing here.
Take a swing.
one of the biggest swings in the draft, in my opinion. He is very talented, but has been falling a lot this year. I'm going to take Ivan Ryabkin.
Ooh,
I think
you're
they're
taking you're
willing.
taking two guys who are outside of my top something. Yeah,
Look, he's really talented. He is. Um, he's had a bad year, obviously. I think if any team can take this kind of chance in the draft, I think it is San Jose with how loaded that prospect pool is. And I don't. His move to the USHL has been interesting. I don't. He hasn't really even been like the best player, the best at least offensive driver on that team, and that is worrying. Sure,
the best offensive
but
driver on that team is 16 years old too, which is
yeah,
crazy.
which is insane. He's got a quick release. He has good instincts offensively. He has good hands. It'll be interesting to see how he develops, and I think San Jose is probably the perfect team to take him. They will be willing to take their time. So
Gotcha.
I want to hear more of your thoughts on him.
Um, I'm not a huge fan of him. Him and Cameron Schmidt are guys I wouldn't consider as first rounders. In my opinion, for different reasons. But Ivan Ryabkin, the whole year we're speculating what he's going to be because we saw what his draft year -1 season was, and it was great. I will say ever since he came over to the USHL, he's been developing a lot better. He's been scoring a lot more goals. But that being said, there's been a lot more controversy. A lot of the things have been more publicized about his attitude in the locker room,
Yeah, apparently he's
his
an asshole.
fitness. Yeah. So he's not a very, I guess you can kind of see it in games that he's playing. This guy isn't the most fit. Again, he's slower. He's a slower skater. He's 200 pounds, 5'10". He's kind of throwing the body around. He's taking a lot of penalties. He's doing what those guys do, and I think he's a bit of a risk. But if San Jose takes him, knowing what happened when they took Ryan Merkley, hopefully they can handle it better. So we
It
will
is a
see.
different regime.
But
It is a different regime
gotcha.
as
All
well.
right,
You gotta.
Chicago. This is where kind of the draft goes all over the place, and you kind of
Yeah,
just got to take the guy that you want to take. Chicago took Misa, and who else did they take?
that's their only pick.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to go with another center here. I think the defensive core is really, really solid, but I think if the more you can stack up the center of your ice, the better you are off.
Yeah,
And I think Jack Nesbitt out of Windsor, I think is going to be a really
can never
solid pick for
have
them,
too many centers.
especially big ones. And they have AJ Spellisy, who is a Windsor Spitfire as well. I love his game. He signed this year after getting drafted last year in the 3rd round. And I think they could totally continue that trend with Jack Nesbitt.
Yeah.
He was someone that I really didn't understand a lot of it a lot of the hype for. And again, watching him skate, you kind of don't understand it. But you see how he gets involved in the play. You see how the line that he was on, him, Belchitz, and Greentree, was not just Greentree. Greentree was driving a lot. Belchitz was helping a lot too. But this guy really attacks, and he gets really active in the offensive zone. I really like watching him play. So 29, give me Jack Nesbitt.
I like that a lot. And yeah. I mean, yeah, he's really good, and you can never have too many centers, especially guys like Nesbitt as well. And you are right; like it wasn't just Greentree. I think a lot of the credit goes to him, but Nesbitt also helped a lot with that and camera again. By the way,
All right. Who do you got at 30?
at 30 with the Preds, I will be taking Jack Murtagh. Another forward, winger. So they're adding and another winger, middle 6 guy. So it's not going to really hinder Matthew Wood. He's a strong skater, strong strides, can push tempo. They kind of need a guy like that, and at least who's younger. He's a competitive guy. He's confident, and he can push through bumps. So yeah, I mean, it'll be the USN TDP this year's interesting. I will say
It's a bit weak, I will say, but I'm about to take another USN TDP player for Washington at 31. I think they're absolutely trading this pick. We will see what they do. They're going to do a lot to try to just clear some cap space to kind of keep the gang around because they like this group, and this is a good group.
And
for
to
them.
fit the Chikrin contract in.
Exactly, of course. Um, I'm going to be taking Carter Amico here, 31. I think
Motherfucker.
he's the
I was
I
gonna
yeah.
give him Winnipeg.
So I think he was the best player in the USNTDP when he was playing this year. Unfortunately, his season was ended really early with a freak injury. It was in November, but I love the games that he played against the colleges. He looked really, really strong, really mature, 6'5", throwing the body around, getting really physical, getting in your face. And Washington, again, they play really good this year, and they have a great defense. They need a little bit. They got Cole Hudson on the back end that just fell into their lap last year, and
Mm-hmm.
you gotta love it. I think if you pair that with a guy like Carter Amico, a right shot defenseman, 6'5", huge, can just
Balances out.
he's just a mass. It really just balances out. I really think that Carter Amico is a very solid pick. I think he's going to be a safe pick, which is crazy to say about someone who had a freak injury like his. He's going to be viewed as a safe pick very soon. And I absolutely do feel he's a first rounder. So
You
I'm taking
want
him
me to
31st.
shout out that certain line?
Do what you need to do.
First off, let me preface this. This is from someone else. I am a fan of Carter Amico's game. So let me find out. Fuck me.
Is it Gabe Foley?
Zach Senishin.
Oh, yeah.
From another mock draft, link was in on NHL Draft Pros. Go check him out if you haven't. Great channel. One of the I forget who it was who said I forget who said that. You'll know. The quote was Zach Senishin and Jakub Zaboral worthy picker.
Oh, yeah. That was Rocco Zappia from the
That's
Puck Funker.
fucking hilarious quote.
Look, it's a hilarious quote, but I still do believe that Amigo's a
I
first
agree.
rounder.
I
We'll
agree.
see. But yeah, he created some good TV. So
Gamma again. And they do need defenseman prospects outside of Cole Hudson. They really don't have any.
yeah,
They have Cam Allen, who God, I forgot what happened. I think it was a DUI.
DUI, and then he just showed up at the rink 20 days later after being suspended by the team. I don't like
Head
Cam
case,
Allen.
whatever.
I think it's that's okay to say now.
Yeah,
It just
yeah, I agree. But and I mean, like they also have like what Vinny Iorio, fine, and
yeah, he's not going to be again. He's not going to be pushing a lot
Alexiev.
of.
So
That's yeah. All
so
right, let's
I like
finish
it.
this off
It
the bang.
balances out. Winnipeg. They need centers, especially with Chaz Lucius retiring. Good luck,
Rip,
first of all.
that's my boy.
Good luck, Chaz. Really, like I'm not just saying that, but I'm going to take Cole Reshny.
Okay, I like it.
They need centers really bad. I mean, right now their 2C is Vladimir Meznikov. Smaller on the smaller side, 5'10", 183. Playmaking center with a good motor, able to create chances for himself and his line mates, natural handler, and he can finish well. And he's a good skater. Like, I think they have a lot of forward prospects. Colby Barlow's had a bad year. He's definitely falling a bit. Like, their only other center prospects, Brad Lambert, and he's kind of So I think them. I mean, Carter Miko was my pick here before you fucking took him. So I think this isn't a bad constellation, honestly. And I
Yeah,
haven't seen Koreshny at least recently mocked in first rounds.
yeah, he's been falling a little bit outside the first round. A lot of it has to do with the skating. The stride is kind of inefficient,
Yeah,
and that kind of worries a few people. But I still generally like Cole Retching. I think his motor is really under talked about, and he's someone that like he's a big fighter. I really do like him. I'm not like fighter in terms of like he's a good retrieval guy. I really do like a lot of the board play that he makes. If it's not him, some other guys that fit that mold, Eddie Genborg from Linköping, Braden Coots from Seattle.
yeah. I was thinking
Cole
Coots here,
McKinney from the
too.
USNDP has had a
Same here. Yeah.
monster wrap up to the year. And yeah, I really like that pick. I would just say like any honorable mentions that you have, because I have
Yeah.
we took everybody in my first round minus 3 people. The 3 people that we didn't take were Braden Coots, who I just mentioned, Eddie Genborg, who I just mentioned, and Maxim Agafonov. Those are just 3 guys that like
You're not gonna mention Will Moore, your favorite prospect, William Moore.
William. Okay, let's not talk about that. No, but we took I guess Schmidt, Rechny, and Ryabkin in this draft. So I guess I feel pretty good that a lot of my guys were in this draft. But yeah, I really do like those players
I think
too as
some
well.
interesting names are like
Oh, and what's his
Simon
name?
White. I
Sorry,
think is an interesting name.
yeah, he's really contentious. Some people don't even have him in their
Yeah, I
top like
know.
70.
He's basically a mold of clay, essentially.
Yeah, and sometimes a lot of people don't want to deal with that, even though he's big and he's got the skating to prove it. I think it's weird too. Another defenseman I completely forgot to mention, David Bitkowski, really big, really tall, and he gets active in the play. He's a big mover. You'd love to see it. Some Russian risers with Daniil Prokhorov,
Yeah.
Alex Zhuravsky, Roman Balsov as well, Kirill Yemelyanov. Russia's got a pretty deep class. So
Yeah, some guys who have like fallen out of the first round from like at least the start of the year: Charlie Trethway, Reese Hamilton,
yeah,
Victor
with,
Fluzo,
yeah,
Radiojevic.
yeah, with Trethaway, I wasn't too confident that he would stay in the first. I think he still
Oh,
offers a
and
really
Sasha
intriguing.
Bomedian.
Yeah, I still have Sasha Bomedian hovering around the first round.
Yeah,
He's someone who he plays a really mature game despite the skating issues. I think he's going to be a really good role player at the next level. Um, he's someone that I think guy is going to just kind of like lock in and give you a really solid 16 to 18 minutes a night. I think he's a bottom to middle pairing guy, but he's going to play that bottom to mid pairing place really well. So I enjoy a Sasha Boumediene pick.
one more
So.
guy I want to at least shout out, and this is a very interesting player. One of the more unique players I think in at least recent years. LJ Mooney.
I go ahead. You tell your thing.
Tiny.
I don't think he's going to get drafted.
He's very creative.
Yeah,
The size is incredibly worrying. He's what?
yeah,
He's 5'6".
he's 5'6".
Yeah.
And again, I think it's going to be a case. I think someone's definitely going to take him. He's going to the University of Minnesota for the next few years. I think there is a player there. There's something that you can get there. You just have to kind of squeeze it out. You have to see what he can do. How he's going to adapt to the NCAA is going to be paramount to kind of like the projection of him. I think what happens with him, Adam Benak, and to an extent Christian. What am I saying? I'm so tired right now. Cameron Schmidt will kind of just determine what happens for small guys with a ton of upside and a ton of talent. The LJ Mooney, an incredibly talented player. Like out of the US on TTP, he looks great. He really does look like a very solid, very talented, very complete.
Skilled.
I wouldn't say complete, but very skilled player. That's the word I was looking for. But the size is such an issue that I really don't think it's going to lead to him getting drafted. There are guys in this draft that are 6'6", 6'7", 6'5". There are some huge players in the draft, and looking at how GMs have drafted over the past few years,
Size, yeah.
They love size. I mean, like Dean Letourneau was a first round draft pick last year.
3 secondary assists the year after.
Gotta love it.
Oh yeah, I think we should also touch on Will Moore. You should.
I don't think we need to touch on Will Moore. I think we're okay.
But yeah, any closing remarks, Link?
No, I think this looks pretty good. So all good for me. Let's just hope my camera works next time.
All right. Thank you all for. Oh wait, how do I? Thank you all for watching this special edition, especially without Jacob. It's weird doing the outro and intro. So hopefully I'm better at it the next time I do this. So yeah. Anyways, thank you all.